Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, how are you doing?
All right, mate. You?
Very good, very good.
So, solve the
But
mystery. What country are you in?
I'm on the Wirral. I
Ah,
was I was born in America, and I went
sorry, mate.
went back there when I was in my 20s and was doing like a load of journalism there for the British
Hmm.
papers back here. Lived in Tokyo for a bit,
Yep.
for two
Nice.
years. Then went back to America, and then came back here about 7 years ago.
What for?
What's that?
What?
Well,
What did?
honestly, it was honestly but one of the main parts was like we've got two kids and the health sort of stuff. Like, the
Yeah,
amount of
yeah,
times you go into the
yeah,
hospital and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
It's a bit crazy. And also just schools are better here. And,
yeah.
so there was a lot of that stuff. And, they're both, well, Naomi was born in Tokyo, but she has an American passport. And Ewan has an American passport. It feels a bit tight for them, not to experience having a British accent in America.
That's quite cool.
It's
That's quite
hilarious.
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
So
this is all a bit bizarre, isn't it?
it's great. I've been at this for probably a few years. It's not much more than that. After I came back, then there was like COVID and everything, and then I think the first person I'd really heard talk about it was that Angelo Delulu
Yeah, yeah,
guy. Yeah, and then from that. I had I was listening to Rupert Spira a lot,
yeah.
and then something happened. I still don't exactly know what it was, but I had like a 2 week period of just like just class. It
Okay.
was it was lovely. So there was like a
Did
flash. There
Okay,
was
this is what I was going to ask you. Talk me through this
it
experience.
it yeah. I was staring at the Sri Yantra actually. And like just something happened for the like next few days. I was just light. It was just lightness. It was wonderful. It went on for about 2 weeks, and it's never really totally gone away again since.
Hmm.
It was for those 2 weeks. It was like everything was just perfect. It was like I want to be like this all the time. This is just incredible. I
Uh,
could like
Go
I
on.
could see arguments before they happened, and I could
Yeah.
just cut them out. There was all sorts of stuff. Um, and loads of like my beliefs. Like I used to think I would never stop smoking, I would never stop drinking, I'd never stop doing drugs and stuff. And a lot of that just fell away. And it was just
Beautiful.
like I don't have this identity. But then after that, that's like feels really actually when the real work sort of began. It was just
Yeah.
like
It
trying
gets
to get it,
harder.
losing it, trying to get it back, trying to going through that, bashing my head. I've listened to hundreds of hours of every non-duality speaker. Went through their accents for a while. I'd have like Francis Lucille for a nice French guy,
Ooh la
Lana
la.
Sinayate for that nice kind of like Eastern European. Just was going through everything, and it's great. And I tend to find myself kind of like just resonating with certain people, and
Okay.
then I can like do it. But it's also kind of like I think it's like actually calming down now, but that it's um because I know, I've got to the point where I know that like, I haven't lost it, and it's just convincing the mind
Okay.
to stop. And
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah,
also
yeah.
got ADHD. I've had ADHD
Yeah.
since I was like 11. I was like one of the first diagnosed on in the
Me
Wirral.
too.
I was really bad. So
Yeah.
I had all that, and then one of the things that has been a bit of a uh, gut punch recently is finding both my kids have it too, and then seeing them start to have struggles, particularly similar struggles. So I have of those like feelings of like self and just feeling, and I see it in
Overly
them, and I see them
sensitive.
like really sensitive,
Yeah.
really, and it's painful to watch without,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like I've taken medication for it. I don't. My daughter doesn't particularly want to, and anything I can do now that would help them be able to
Okay.
understand that a little bit better is
Okay.
amazing.
Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for being so open, Eric. That was lovely. Have you watched any of my videos?
Yes, I watched the one with Susie, and
Okay.
then it was actually watching the one with Enid. Is it
Yep.
Enid?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one, I was like, whoa. Really,
Okay, cool.
I almost watched the one you put on today before, but I was like, no, I'll leave it. I'll leave
Yeah,
it.
good choice. Good choice. Okay, beautiful. So in terms of this session, right? Um, given that our expectations always fail us, what's a good outcome? What does good look like for you in the next hour?
Getting to that place, just the getting the mind off for a little bit.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what it's always been about for me. All the drink, all the everything,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
always trying to turn off the mind. So anything that I can get there and then be able to get back was.
Okay. Okay. Can I ask you whether you take your ADHD medication daily?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, cool. And how do you currently feel safe and lucid and cool and
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
okay. Okay. All right. I can resonate very much with your story, brother. I also have the label, the ADHD label. I actually wasn't diagnosed until about just over 2 years ago. So I've done my entire life. And the standard carnage that follow that you leave in your trail, you know. Um, and what that looks like for me now is kind of, I'll just give you a quick summary of kind of how I got here as well. I just used to be a footballer, a soccer player, right? So I was a goalkeeper and I played I was with a pro club from the age of 10. I played for England schoolboys and Great
Oh,
Britain
nice.
students and stuff, right? But then at the age of 23, I got a really bad leg break and it kind of ended everything on the football side. And again, still undiagnosed ADHD. I basically just like Forrest Gump, I just kept running. But I was running with packs of bricks and weights and but running like 6 half marathons a week and just for training purposes, you know, just really bonkers stuff in hindsight now. Now I know what I know.
It's good that you have
Um,
that, like the runnings, like that. That's one thing that I've started doing since that flash. I started
yeah, yeah,
running, and
yeah, yeah.
that's
You
something
got
I
it, man.
never thought I'd do, and it's like it's
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But
it's
that's when
it's
you're in your silent mind, isn't it? When you're,
incredible. Like looking for the
yeah,
void, and I can find it. I can find it
yeah.
running.
Of
It's
course you
beautiful.
can.
It's
Of
just
course you
beautiful.
can. Okay. And I basically in 2006, I put on a lot of weight after stop playing football, like 6.5 stone. And basically, mate, I in 2006, I bought a new house, moved in with my family, you know, house of my dreams. And about a few weeks later, I was clearing the garden and I've done something to me back. And I was 99.9% of the time from that day in 2006 until 3 years ago, I was in bed. I was in bed taking opioids like Smarties and benzos and sleeping tablets and nerve suppressants. I had nearly probably about 40 spinal and surgeries. I'm now full of metal wires, batteries, fusions. I've had discs cut out, and you know it's a mess because I didn't know I had ADHD and all of that running, all of that football training, all of that. When I bust my leg, I then started working like I used to train because I didn't really have to work before then. I was just playing football. Um, but I ended up working up in the city for 30 years, building trading floors and supporting trading floors, and then building data centers, and just had a real kind of mixed journey. And all of that, the last 16 years, up to a few couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago, I was on all them drugs all that time through all that work, traveling all around the world when I had to. But I was always like laid down when I'm traveling, and you know, it was just carnage. But what I didn't know was I was addicted to all these drugs, and I was addicted to them because it stopped that, you know, that
Yeah,
energy I'm talking
yeah,
about,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. And I know how benzos do that as well in
Right.
particular.
Yeah.
Like,
And benzos and booze, right? It's like
yeah,
the magic potion, but it's such a short-term relief that it's a never-ending. Um, it's just a never-ending chase. Anyway, so I kind of just wanted to land on the same page with you there.
yeah,
Yeah. And what I did in at the end of 2001, my dad said to me, I was around his house, and he said to me, "Are you sure you're not addicted to all this stuff?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just like taking what the doctors give me, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, cut a long story short, I got on the UK government's medicinal cannabis research program, and I've been on it ever since. It's got me onto kind of the plant medicine side of things, which took me kind of down the holistic route and into Holland, working with shaman out there for the last 2 to 3 years, really. Or this is the third year. This would be the third year. So, and the reason I chose to stop all my IT stuff and to do this is because since March last year, so March 2024, I was doing a meditation, and back then I lived on a boat. I was doing a meditation, and my wife was next to me, and I had this bizarre happening, like I was being electrocuted. And since that day, I haven't. All my thoughts have stopped, and that energy isn't there anymore. It only comes back when, like, that energy returns when I abuse myself in respect of my meds. My meds I call meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. That's my meds. And so, for example, at the minute, just because we moved off the boats a couple of weeks ago, and we moved house, and the kids back to uni, and it was just we back from holiday, and it was just been one of them couple of week periods. And I launched my YouTube channel, and it's gone a bit crazy. So it's just all awesome because it's all just happening, but it's not happening to me anymore. That's kind of the twist. So it's like you don't forget anything, you've not lost anything. It's just a different relationship with what is. And that's
can
the
I ask you a
journey. If
question
you're,
there?
of course you can, please do.
So, so
Can I stop you? Don't forget it.
mhm.
Don't forget it. I'm just going to shut a window. Don't
Yeah,
forget
no,
that
no worries.
question. Hmm. Cheers, Eric.
Yeah, what I was going to say, I love the fact you've got kids because you find a lot of people in this space who a lot of them don't, and it's like
Mm.
I find that hard to relate to in a way. But the my time that if I have it or if I had it for a while, the most intense like pull back into a sort of suffering seems to be like triggers around like say if I've got a 9-year-old boy at the moment and I
Yeah.
see him like acting up in a certain way
Yeah.
that will remind me of how I used to be as
Yeah.
well, and it's like oof, oh, and it's like
Can't have that.
I yeah, and it's so strange. It's sort of
Mm.
like
Mm.
that conditioning sort of stuff is that's
Yeah.
one of the things that didn't fall away, and it's just like it drives me. It's relationships, I think, like that seems to be, particularly those close ones, seem to be the
Yeah.
trigger
And
points for me.
absolutely right, because the close ones are generally ones that there's no comeback because they love you. Yeah, as opposed to you reacting.
Hmm.
Um, okay. You feel nice and safe and stable, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. You get yourself nice and comfortable as if you was going to sit still for 20 minutes. We're doing some guided meditation. Um, you can do whatever you want with your eyes, open or closed, okay? But just know that to sit still as you can. You don't need to move. You don't need to nod. If I need an answer for anything, I'll ask you to speak. Yeah. Um, there's nothing for you to remember, nothing for you to do, because this message isn't, I'm sure you've heard it all before. This message isn't for you, right? Okay. But this will be direct. This will do something inside. Okay. But what it does, when I say it'll do something, obviously I don't know your current psyche or your physical state or anything. I've only just met you 10 minutes ago on here, right? So I will sometimes ask you how you're feeling. Yeah. And that doesn't mean to listen to what your mind says. That means to feel like you're feeling the seat in your bum and the floor in your feet feel. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. So let's go direct then. In this instant, in this very moment, in this directness, the only thing that is, what do you believe?
Nothing.
What's between nothing and not nothing?
Space.
Pardon?
Space.
Okay. So without a past or a future, what's between nothing and not nothing? The past being all the stuff you've been learned and conditioned by, and the future being, and isn't here because there's only this, or the future, which isn't here because there's only this. So without a past or a future, in this very moment, what do you believe?
Nothing.
And what's between nothing and not nothing? Just stay in that space. If there's nothing, stay there in nothingness. If it's blank, it's blank. So if you're blanking out, is anything missing?
No.
Any problems in the isness of this instant?
No.
Is anything coming, going, becoming, losing, winning, good, bad, right, wrong, in this instant, in this real moment of instant directness? The only thing that is this direct isness.
No.
So without a past and a future, they don't exist. This must be it, right?
Yeah.
So just breathe nice and cyclical in the nose into your lower abdomen and just enjoy that. You own your breath without forcing it, without pushing or pulling it. Just get a nice cyclical into your lower abdomen, fill yourself up with this beautiful wonder, with this energy. The energy in the silence that you and stillness that you now feel. For no reason. It just is as well. And in this isness of this instant, where there is no past and no future, what are you feeling?
Energy. Energy
Okay.
moving.
Okay. What are you feeling without language? You're blank. Beautiful. There's a permanence to this, isn't it? Familiar now? Recognize it now? There's nothing to recognize. It hasn't been anywhere, it just is. But it's so nuanced and subtle, Eric, that we overlook it when we get distracted by what isn't, which is the thoughts. Because the thoughts are all about the past and the future. There is nothing in this instant, in this directness, in this moment. No thoughts are required. because your body is safe and it's your mind is with it. It's in alignment here in the isness. It's back. How does it feel in the body? When you're ready, please speak. Don't think about it. Just wait for the answer in your gut.
But spacious, empty.
Let's squeeze it then. How does it feel without words, without language? Go there and stay there for no reason. Beautiful. All words are made up of, aren't they? There was no words before humans, right? So we don't know what this is, this mystery. It's just words and the stories and beliefs. And then that little Eric is a big bundle of Eric's beliefs and conditioning. And it's none of it's his fault. He didn't know any of it was happening. And he's always done everything he could. Everything is known, like everybody, all 8.3 billion of us. We simply are the combined sum of our learned experiences and nothing else. Except until we go to this place, into the unknown, between the thoughts, where there is just openness, nothingness, stillness, everything, nothing. It's nameless. Can you put words on that?
Nothing to do it justice.
That's okay, isn't it? Yeah, just stay in it for no reason, for nobody. Because the you that you've been referring to, or the I that you've been reading about, the I am, is just a thought as well. That's a learned phrase. Because I want you to go inside and look for the I in this directness. Look for the I in this instant. Beautiful. Well done. Just stay there for no reason. Try and relax your shoulders a tinsy bit, just nice and that's it. Beautiful, brother. And maybe relax your jaw a little bit so your lips aren't closed. That's it. Nothing else changes because there's nothing happening, is there? So without a past or a future, what is happening? Without a past or a future, what is there ever happening outside of the thoughts of my life, which is not real and not happening?
Nothing.
Beautiful, brother. Just stay there for no reason. You know, people like us who really want to look after everybody else and that are sensitive, and your kids will feel the same towards you. They really, really, really pick up on everything. And all thoughts is a reaction to one of the five senses or a reaction to another thought. So the five senses, we've got sight, sound, smell, taste, and feeling. And we've got thoughts. So those six things trigger other thoughts. Nothing else does. So, you know, thoughts trigger thoughts. We get those thought trains and those thought fireworks. Yeah, you can watch them now in this openness with this air gap, this firewall between you and the thoughts, between what is aware of the thoughts. I want you to just watch your thoughts in stillness and silence. Watch your thoughts without adding to them, without resisting them, without believing them, because they're not this, are they? And when you put your awareness into that, you'll notice there aren't any, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what comes with that? What's happening in the body? Yeah.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Really relaxing.
Beautiful.
The thoughts, they try
Watch
to
them.
pull me back in.
Yeah, watch them. Good man. Well done.
I just watched one say,
Good
yeah,
man.
but
Well done.
this is good. Yeah.
Yeah, this ain't it. It has to go to the
Yeah.
opposite direction because it's so afraid that you're getting it right. It's going to tell you this ain't it. But in the stillness and the silence, in the directness of this moment, it's just a playground because there's never anything actually happening ever. This is it. It's all done. It is whole and complete. It is perfect. It is not separate from what you think you are, from that energy, that oneness, that nothingness, that void, that abyss, that everything, that nothing, that nameless. And that's all right because all of that is just words and all it is this. So we have 8.3 billion people in the dream world of their thoughts, and they think they have a life, and they don't see and feel what is this pure clarity without words that doesn't need anything. There's nothing because it isn't anything. Nothing can describe, define, measure, see. Not down there in the heavy three-dimensional world of space and time. Before humans existed, and if you're I want you to visualize yourself, everything else on the planet is the same. Visualize yourself as the first human on the planet. The only one here. Feel that. So you've just rocked up on Earth and there's just you and the animals. There's no language, just body language. Without words, without judgment, without meaning, without beliefs, without perceptions, without stories, without a life. Just the isness of the moment. That is all there is. And this moment, this is all there is. It's all there's been. It's all there's ever going to be. Like dogs just have a dog body and grow. Here, so do humans, so do cats, so do birds. The timeline that is our thoughts, that has a really heavy tail, that we believe is our real life, and we have to maintain and uphold that entire identity of Eric for all these years, all these decades, when there's not anything happening. And you can be anything and everything or nothing because there isn't anything. There's just the isness. And everything else is your expectations of what you believe others expect of you. And in this stillness and silence, we're going to rip off that mask for the last time because the bullshit dies here, brother. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes of silence. I'm going to ask you to go and look between two words without speaking and just stay there wherever it takes you. Just stay there, just follow it without meaning, without purpose, without a past or a future. I want you to go and look between doing and not doing. I'll break the silence. What's between doing and not doing? See, our words are just fabricated. Our lives are just fabricated. Everybody's got the same this, the same isness, isn't it? Yeah. And you can feel now and see and feel in that the only life one would have would take you away from what actually is. Because it's all thoughts, it's not real. Doesn't matter what you think your life is, there is still only this. And it's done. It never changes. never goes anywhere. It's never for anyone. It's never for a reason. It's never separate. It never has a name because it is this. It is what it is. So it's kind of like you've been searching for something your whole life and you didn't know you were staring at it all the time, isn't it? The contentment and peace is here, isn't it? Okay. So in this space, in this openness and nothingness, can you find me a next? What's next that's real?
No.
It's the trickster, isn't it? The old mind. And everyone's life is going for the next, the next, the next, the next. And that's, we wonder why we're all seeking and going crazy upstairs. Because there's nothing happening. And the body knows that because it's here. But the mind doesn't. The mind thinks it's in a life of not this. So when it goes to, when the mind has an amazing idea, and you put all that thought and effort into it, and it goes to your body, here, body, I've got an idea. Do this, do all this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and do this, and then everything will be all right. Your body's like, nothing's happening. So, you know, one of the typical ADHD symptoms is you want to do stuff and you can't start it, right? For some reason, it's like an invisible wall, or you're weighed down on the seat for some reason. But nothing's happening, is it? It's just thoughts. Yeah, that's right. That's why. It's because you wasn't, thoughts weren't required for that body in that moment, whenever you tried and got blocked. The body and the mind will only work together properly when the mind is not in the make-believe stories of the past and the future. Because it knows in this directness, in the stillness, beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, it knows it's safe. It knows it's got nothing to think about. Because it knows there's no next. And it knows this is it. This is all there is. This is all there's ever been. And it isn't anything. It's what we've learned to call it, what we've been taught to call it. So if you visualize a beautiful big oak tree, magical, massive, mystical, moving and still at the same time, did you just learn to call that a tree? What is it without language? The you, the I, they're just thoughts. It's just the mind. It's just beliefs. In this directness, in this instant, without a past and a future, what is suffering? You okay? How you feeling?
Good.
Lovely. How you feeling without language? Even better, huh? See how good restricts what this is. What makes it good? Go and look for what is between good and not good. And because in this space, in this clarity, there's no ideas, because there's nothing required, because there's nothing happening. The entire body and mind is at rest. It's at peace. It's relaxed. It's chilled. It's not seeking for an invisible next that it's been staring at for 40 odd years. So literally, all talk is cheap. All words are pointers to all made up stuff, to nothingness, all back to here, where nothing is separate to the isness, in the direct awareness, where we feel and hear the silence. And you'll feel or hear like a high frequency, yeah, just drop in, stay there without pulling it or pushing it. It's always there. It's always there. Whether your mind's there or not, that is always there. That silence. Even my words within the silence, you can still hear the silence, can't you? In the gaps between my words and the gap and the silence under my words, amongst all of these noises and words, you can still hear the silence, isn't it? And there is not a single sensation or pain in your body, is it? The body, I should say. So before the call, before 32 minutes ago, your kind of conditioning or your bondage with ideas or thoughts or stories or your life, the past, the future, your ideas of what this should be, this isness, all of that stuff. Without ideas, what is this? What is the isness? Without a past and a future, and without learned language. What is this? Anything? Beautiful. Nice and relaxed. And in this directness, we realize the dreams we have when we're asleep are just thoughts and feelings, isn't it? And when we're in this awakeness, in this directness, what is there?
Nothing.
That's right, that's right, brother. Outside of the energy of the thoughts arising out of nothing, there remains the nothing that they arose from. And that is everything there is. without language, without labels, without meaning, without purpose, without stuff we've had to learn and then act upon and conform and be measured on and win and compete and fight and be humiliated. Just because we're so smart, people didn't get us. Just because our minds go much quicker than other people's, and that's okay when we're doing the things we want to do. But when we're having to conform and do the things that other people expect of us, that's when the old monkey mind tends to spin up, because you don't want to do it. So you get bored, you get distracted, and the mind spins up, and all of a sudden you've fallen out of the directness. And then all of a sudden you think there's things happening when you've done it by being unconscious. And this consciousness, this level of awareness, this being takes effort, takes practice. And unless it becomes the most important thing in your life, you will unsee it, because you'll fall back in to what isn't, to the story of Eric's life. And that's okay to do that consciously, brother, because that's where it all is, unfortunately. So this is useless for you, this, unfortunately, because you still got to go and dip a toe in there and do all the mad shit that everyone else has to do. But you can do it with the knowing that you don't have to speak. And if you don't speak, you don't create more beliefs. And if you don't create more beliefs, you finally stop adding to what isn't. Because even after all those words and stories, there's still just this. Has anything changed or moved? Has anything become deteriorated? Ever? You give a nice, big, deep, slow breath, as big as you can, into your lower abdomen. Breathe all that gratitude in, brother, and love. Feel all that energy. Pure, direct oneness. Not separate. This is truth. This is your truth, without a mask. The mask of the character of Eric. It's never, ever been anywhere else. It's always what is. It's always this. For nobody. And there's so much beauty in the simplicity of this, isn't it? I mean, the words don't work. Words don't work. I'll shut up for 30 seconds, let you enjoy it. The distracted mind gets intoxicated with thoughts, all on its own. It's not your fault. It's just the life you had. They don't mean anything in this directness. That's all you have to know and remember and feel. You know, when you have the feelings and sensations in your body that you had previously maybe labeled as anxiety, or good or bad, without a past or without a future, what are feelings? Because no one's actually touching you, are they? It's just energy. It's just thoughts. It's just another sense, another reaction to one of the senses. There's nothing happening. And all words are made up. And even this, what we're saying, is just like two birds chirping. But we've learned to make it mean something, but we made it all up. So without opening your eyes, keep your eyes closed and relaxed. I want you to look behind your eyelids like you're watching two televisions. Put all your awareness into seeing, allow seeing to happen for nobody, and enjoy the light show. You see there's faint changes in shades, colors, things flashing, disappearing, coming, all on its own. Anything like that occurring? Yeah. That's just the same energy. The light you see is the same energy. Everything you feel is the same energy. The thoughts arise out of the same energy. And you're not doing any of it, brother, because there's no life being had. There's just living in the isness. Not trying to maintain the character of Eric. Not trying to please a me. Not trying to quieten the I. Because it's all just thoughts. You'll never do it. Not until you bring yourself back into this direct awareness of the direct instant of this moment. And if you do feel sensations, take away the word sensations. What's next? Allow the direct soberness to happen, brother, without trying, without pushing or pulling, like you're watching the clouds. You notice how you can see and hear and feel clearly now without trying to stop anything. Because what's happening in the directness? Mm. So that seeking, it just serves as a kind of self-reinforcement to the mind. And the mind is just a learned thing. Can you find the mind? What's between mind and no mind? And we think the mind is us, and it's not even there, is it? It's just a concept. And we made it all up. And it doesn't matter anymore. That's the key message here, brother. It just doesn't matter anymore. Not in a I don't give a shit kind of way, but just in a peace kind of way. That kind of it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't. Outside of the drama of my life that you created by moving and talking and saying words and having beliefs, apart from that stuff, there's nothing happening ever. So in the stillness and the silence, it's impossible to create drama. It's impossible for a conscious human to have an argument because there's nothing happening ever in the directness, in the energy, in the source. Give it whatever label you want. None of it means anything. There just is it. And it ain't separate from what I'm looking at. I know that much. Can't remember seeing a physical line between that body and this body anywhere. Can you? I don't see anybody in that body pressing buttons and pulling levers, making choices and controlling this world, do you? How much energy is being spent by those 8.3 billion people trying to do that in their thoughts, in their dreams, every minute of every day? And then they have nightmares about that when they're not awake. And all there is, and all there's ever been, and all there's going to be is this directness. this stillness and silence. Is there an Eric in there doing stuff that has things to do, that needs to do the next thing in his life? Why not? What's happened to him?
Just thought he was there.
Beautiful, mate. And you also get a sense now, even that's too much words now. There's just too much effort saying that. There's just stillness and clarity for no reason, always. And in this intimacy, is there an individual? In this directness? You find me a previous that's real? And in this openness and directness, there's no illusion, there's no words, there's no thoughts, there's no choices, there's no maintenance, is there? All the things that you spend your life doing, because you think they need to happen. You think they need to happen before now, before a different now. And this is the only one there is. There's not even a now, that implies time. Dropping into that visualization where you're the only human and the first human on the planet, where there wasn't any language. You look down at your wrist and you see you're aware that there's a watch on there. Is that any good to you? See what we've done to ourselves with time, with words. And in that space where you're the first and only human on the planet, without language, without time. How far away is the closest thing? What's distance? So seemingly the story of Eric Munn only existed as a thought. And all of the drama and the heaviness that he felt he had to have a responsibility to maintain, to keep wearing that mask, to never let anybody down, to prove himself. It was all just thoughts. It's all pointless. It's nothing needs doing because it's done. Done. It's been done. It is done. It will always be done in the doneness. So even like Eric's life existing as a thought, the story of Eric, all the history, even all the spirituality, all the reading, all the seeking, it's all just words and thoughts arising out of nothing. It's led you on a wild goose chase to nowhere, back here to emptiness, back home. For no reason, for nobody, And it's just what appears to be happening in this instant for no reason. And everything that is happening has to fit in with around the story of everything you know. Otherwise, you don't know what's happening, where you are, what to do next. And then it is bad, it is anxious, it is horrendous. But even all of that is just conditioning, words and labels and jobs and contracts and social structures and beliefs and religions and education, media, mainstream media, social media, poisonous food, poisonous pharmaceuticals, and we wonder why everyone is nuts on the dream bus in the future and the past, and no one's here in this stillness. And that's another animal kind of goes for another animal's partner or their territory. Do you ever see animals just fighting for the sake of it? No, they're not like, coming in, I'm harder than you. Two lions, are they? There's an isness going on. They're either hungry or they're trying to reproduce or they're trying to stay warm and safe in their territory. No different to you, is it? Reproduce, eat, warm and safe in your territory. It just happens. The body just does it. Without stories, without a past and a future, where's your life?
This moment.
Beautiful. All right, when you're ready, without moving your eyeballs, I want you to kind of not look at your screen. I want you to look either above or around your screen, but something past the screen. So you're going to open your eyelids. And when you do, you're not going to move your eyeballs. Whatever they're looking at is what they're looking at. Don't push or pull at what is being seen. Let seeing happen to nobody. Without labeling, without a past and a future. Whatever is being seen, unlabel it. Without language, what is being seen? Now keep your head still. Feel free to slowly move your eyeballs and let seeing occur without a reason, without labeling, without a past or without a future, without a next, without an Eric. Just going to go on mute and get my water. You just stay there in the... Now, stay in there for no reason, as slow as you can, without moving out of the directness. I want you to slowly, with one of your index fingers, touch your forehead, but don't move your eyeballs. Keep breathing. Stay in the directness. Slowly touch your forehead. Stay there. Stay there. Good. No, not that. Sorry, in the openness. Just stay in it. Put it back. That's it. Stay in the openness. Now the other one. Stay in the openness. Now look at something else. Stay in the openness. Unlabel what you're looking at. Touch with the other hand. Now tap your forehead. Stay in the openness. Tap the forehead. Not your forehead, the forehead. In this openness, What is tapping that forehead?
I don't know.
It's brilliant. We're just playing. You just relax, man. Just relax. Just be normal. We're just playing with it now. You can have so much fun. So you can literally create any reality you want by adding and taking away anything you want. It's just that when the thoughts arise out of nothing on their own, we kind of take it all so seriously. We think we have to act upon it because you're not connected to this in stillness. There you go. All right. Now the mind can't get this, won't get this, can't understand, won't understand. That's why it still feels a little bit vacant and distant. Because you're kind of in halfway house. But you can see that nothing still has happened or changed or become or left in the last 55 minutes, is it? Not outside of this. And it's awesome, but it ain't anything, is it? How you feeling?
Really good.
Cool, man. Yeah. Try not to let the mind grab it and wrap it up in words and tell you it's worked it out and this is what you got to do tomorrow. Because you ain't, have you? There's no one to do anything. It's just what's happening. Like when you're running, that's just happening. You're not working out which foot to put in front of the other, to breathe harder when you're going uphill. You're not doing any of it. It's just happening, all of it. And if you fill your day consciously with things you love doing, you'll be in that flow all the time because you're not having to think about stopping doing this, the isness, the only thing that's happening. And if you're aware of a sensation or a feeling or a thought in this directness, it's already happened. Otherwise, you wouldn't be aware of it. So don't grab it, process it, log it, put meaning behind it, because none of that is happening. That's the mind trying to own this isness, and there's nothing here to own.
That's good. It's already happened.
That's it, man. Good, man. You good?
Yes, brilliant. That's great.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. Well, listen, then I'll give you a couple of hours just to chill, but be gentle on yourself this evening. Yeah. Don't try, honestly, mate, don't try and do anything with this. Just, it's now just a story because it's still this. It's that direct. If you can't feel it through one of the five senses, fuck it off. It's not happening. It's not real. It's just a thought. If you can write it down or draw around it, it's just a thought. Can you write it down anything about this isness or draw anything about this? No, of course not. And that's all right and all, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. That was beautiful. That was stunning. You done amazing, man. Well, you didn't. You was able to really open up. That was lovely, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
So happy for me to share this video, obviously, with you as well. Happy for me to share. Yeah, it's lovely. Good.
Absolutely.
All right, mate. You probably have it in a couple of hours. And yeah, I'll drop you a line. Just chill out. Do nothing for no reason. And that may look like a dog walk. That may look like a bath. That may look like sitting there consciously in the nothingness, doing nothingness, staying with it when I hang up. It could do that. Who knows what happens? So don't create a next. Don't create that. All right? Just trust that your body knows, your instinct knows what it likes, and it'll lead you there. And that goes with both the head and the heart and your diet and everything. Once you're here, back in here, it all just clicks, and it's not hard. It's like life's in easy mode because all the other stuff just stopped, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's amazing that it does remind me of always the running. It's like that flow. It's so close
Yeah,
to flow.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
flow,
But
right? It's
yeah,
beautiful.
of course it is. It's the same energy. Anything else is just words. It's just learned stuff, conditioned stuff. Because I can't see anything happening. It's bonkers, isn't it? But you can drop into it immediately now. Watch this. Go. Blankness, yeah? No thoughts, no activity, no sensations, no anxiety, no feelings. What's between fear and no fear in this instant? Between fear and no fear, between fear and the fearless. You got to dig in for that warrior spirit, brother. In that gut where you took all your answers and all your truth this evening. Not this just lies. It's the pain body, as Eckhart says. It's just all of the darkness. It's all the shit that we've still got to do and deal with and own. Because it ain't going anywhere. You know, this doesn't make all of that all of a sudden disappear, whatever that was, yeah, in the long tail of Eric's life. Because it's still just thoughts, except you now have I can watch that now. I'm not that now. Because the body can't do anything that the mind doesn't tell it to do. And if you're not on top of the mind, the body's fucked, mate. You got no chance. It's just carnage, anarchy everywhere. That's why it is. That's why the world is anarchy. Because everyone thinks they're the center of the universe, but we can't all be the center of the universe, can we? Any questions, man?
No.
No, that's gorgeous. Well done, mate. All right, I'll hang up before I ruin it. All right.
Thank you, Ben.
Well,
Really
take care. I'll speak
appreciate
to you
it, mate.
soon. All right.
Thanks
Take
a
care.
lot.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.